welcome back to another episode of DLC. I'm your host, this time Joey Fitz, and this time I'm bringing you two great, fresh game demos. We're going to break them down, see what makes them tick. The games we're going to talk about are GlitchSpankr and Nothing Strange Here. One is a chaotic, glitch-filled, tongue-in-cheek explosion of creativity. The other is a quiet, cozy, and a little bit unsettling. Two very opposite moods, but both very fascinating in their own way. I would like to thank the developers of Nothing Strange Here, Dandelion developers, and the developers of GlitchSpankr, the Classified X, for the review copies. For full disclosure, we did receive review copies of these games for free from our friends over at Game.Press. So let's get into GlitchSpankr. So first up, GlitchSpankr. That is the real name, and honestly, it fits the game perfectly. The game throws you into this weird digital world. It's half retro arcade, half mad fever dream. You play as a kid who's accidentally unleashed a shape-shifting virus inside an old computer game. To fight back, you are armed with what can only be described as the spank stick. And from there, it's pure, glorious chaos. Everything in GlitchSpankr is interactive. You can hit, poke, break, or play with nearly every single object in the environment. Physics-based, it's unpredictable, and it's constantly shifting. One moment you're going into a corrupted 3D space, and the next, suddenly you're having an emotional heart-to-heart with the virus, or discovering a hidden mini-game where you have to play prop hunt with the virus, for example. The demo makes it clear that player choice really matters. You can fight, spare, or even befriend the virus like I did. And these choices ripple through the story in really unpredictable ways. It's wild, messy, and it's really intentionally weird. The tone and style of the game is over the top, but surprisingly clever. The writing knows exactly how absurd it is and leans into it. The world constantly breaks the fourth wall, poking fun at retro games, at you and at itself. Visually, it's a love letter to old PC games. Pixelated, glitchy, full of broken code and flashing colours. Think 90s CD-ROM meets Mad Dreams game. But underneath all this nonsense, there's a really emotional thread. The virus isn't just a villain, it's a reflection of rebellion, loneliness, creativity, and the demo hits at something deeper beneath all of the jokes and explosions. The game is wildly original. You really don't have a clue what's coming next. The interactivity makes you feel like you're inside a corrupted world as the game wants you to be. It's funny, self-aware, and surprisingly heartfelt in moments. On the slightly less positive side, the chaos can get very overwhelming. Sometimes it's really hard to understand what's interactable or what's just visual noise. The tone swings so fast that it can leave you feeling unsure of what the emotional center of the game really is. I found this a couple of times during the demo. So, GlitchSpankr is one of those demos that I think people will see advertised and think, what is going on there? I'd echo that having played the demo. I'm really looking forward to the full game. I think if you like games like the Stanley Parable, this will be one for you to check out. It's a really, really funny little game. I had a great time in the hour or so that the demo took me to complete. Let's go over to Nothing Strange Here. So as you can tell by the tone of pace, the music soothed, Nothing Strange Here is very different to GlitchSpankr. This one takes place in a small, peaceful town, which might not be as normal as it seems. You play as a budding amateur journalist, helping your uncle investigate a theft. But the deeper you explore, the more you notice the town has its own quiet oddities. It's part cozy life sim, part gentle mystery game, and a lot of really interesting atmosphere. As for the gameplay and mechanics, you walk around open areas and you chat to locals, take photos, and collect little bits of information. You can choose how to frame your stories and which tone to take when writing your articles. The The world reacts with these choices, and some people will like you more based on what you print, and others will like you less. There's also a day and night cycle, meaning certain events and characters only appear at specific times. The demo really encourages you to take your time, observe the details, and enjoy the rhythm of small town life. Now visually, it's warm and slightly stylized. I think it's got a really cozy indie vibe with a sprinkle of weirdness. The colour palette is soft and the music is really gentle. The overall feeling is one of curiosity rather than danger. I think the nothing is strange here attitude becomes almost ironic as you start noticing things that don't quite add up. For example, you could be talking to someone and see that their shadow is moving when they're not. Someone's friendly smile feels rehearsed, or an abandoned area just seems a little bit too quiet. It's really subtle storytelling, and it's done intentionally this way. And it's so the game doesn't shove a mystery in your face, but it lets it build quietly within the background. I think the cozy meets mystery balance is unique. It's not my favourite combination. It's the choice to shape stories through journalism feels fresh, it feels really fun, and the writing is strong. The characters feel human, the pacing is calm but intriguing, and I really liked that it felt like a hark back to games like Banjo-Kazooie, because when you speak to a character, there is no voice acting. It's done through repetitive little voice loops, a la Banjo-Kazooie. Now, once again, there are some challenges to this game. I found the demo really struggled when I tried to play it with a controller. The first time I played it, I got soft locked in the conversation with the uncle whose theft you are investigating. I think it's also, once you get out of that soft lock, it's easy to wander around at times without clear goals. I think there needs to be more branching choices and more town events. It feels very much like a demo of a game, and that seems like a strange criticism, but when I played something like GlitchSpankr, which felt like the beginning of something big and massive and expanding upon what the game itself will be, Nothing Strange here felt like alpha testing more than a demo. Right, it has its charm, and it's the kind of game that you, when it's finished, you might want to curl up with on a rainy afternoon. Slow and thoughtful and quietly eerie in all the right ways, but for me, unfortunately, in its current state, I can't recommend it. So side by side, let's compare GlitchSpankr and Nothing to See Here, and I'll give you your recommendations afterwards. GlitchSpankr is loud. It's an experimental explosion. The kind of game that feels like you've poured sugar into your eyeballs. Nothing Strange here is slow, it's cozy, it's introspective. It feels more like reading a mystery novel by candlelight. They couldn't be more different, but they do share one big thing, and that's charm and personality. Both know exactly what they seem to be, and they seem to really be committing to it. GlitchSpankr is about breaking systems, Nothing Strange here is about observing them. One thrives on the chaos, and one thrives on the calm. They're both demos that have promise, and I think their full releases could be something special, especially GlitchSpankr. I'd like to see some more polish from Nothing Strange here before I choose to play it again. So, if you're feeling chaotic, creative, and ready for weird, go for GlitchSpankr. If you want something slower, cozier, and that you feel much more in control of, Nothing is Strange here will pull you in, but it'll pull you in very gently. Two small games, two totally different vibes, both experimenting in ways that big studios rarely do, and this was felt during my playthrough of the two demos. Right, so that's our episode for today. GlitchSpankr and Nothing Strange here will both be available on Steam in 2025. Once again, thanks to our friends at Dandelion Developers, the Classified X and Game.Press for the review copy. I'll be back soon with another deep dive. I've been Joey Fitz. Check us out on Discord, Twitch, all under the Game Club Pod, and I'll see you next time. Have a good one.